Now, it sounds crazy for me to say that there is something wrong at Alpine, surely? They're 6th in the Constructors with a 58-point gap to their next rival, who are Williams, and I believe they possibly have the best strategists and a very good pit crew behind them. But if you take a closer look into those performances that Alpine have been putting out throughout 2023, you will see that there are some serious problems within that team. So Alpine started off this season like they started off last season, a tad worse, but they started off with Gasly getting 9th in Bahrain, 8th in Jeddah and Miami, and with Ocon getting 8th in Jeddah and 9th in Miami, meaning after Miami they had 14 points, joint 5th with McLaren on points for the season. Now, not terrible, not great, about half the points they had from last season, but they were still in the same position they were in last season, looking very good for the next part of the season. It looked like they were going to be better than McLaren because McLaren had only got those points in a very crazy Australian race, so it looked very good for Alpine. Now, of course, they did have a few issues in this time of the season. Of course, they both crashed into each other in Australia, which was quite funny, but they also had a few bad races, such as in Baku, neither of them scored, and they had a few other DNFs throughout the season thus far. But all in all, it was an okay start for Alpine. Nothing definitely to be worried about. And they proved the haters wrong, right? Because they put in good performances after Miami. Of course, we had Ocon in the next race in Monaco, getting 3rd, his first podium of the season, with Gasly still managing 7th in that race. They also managed another double points finish in Spain and another podium in Belgium. Now, it was a sprint race podium, but still a podium in Belgium for Gasly. And as we all just saw in Zandvoort, Gasly then picked up his first real podium of the season in the Netherlands, where Ferrari, Mercedes and McLaren all had stinkers of a race, which is why I believe Alpine do have some of the best strategists in the field, as every time there's a problem with a better car than them, they always deliver. And from Zandvoort, they are now officially on 73 points, like I said, 58 points ahead of Williams. And you might be thinking, where's the problem? They've had a great start to the season. Surely they're going to finish off in 6th. It was a shame they lost out to McLaren, but McLaren just bought upgrades that worked. But actually, it is looking terrible for Alpine. And these results you really have to take with a pinch of salt, considering if you look closer into these results, you'll actually find that Alpine have actually lost pace to the rest of the field. And not only this, they sacked their team principal, Otmar, after the Belgian Grand Prix after he failed to deliver on results for the team. This left them without a team leader and without a real vision going ahead to this second part of the season, because even if they brought someone in, it's going to take them a few races to get adjusted, or potentially the rest of the season. And not only this, but other teams had been bringing upgrades. Like I said, McLaren had been bringing upgrades since Austria that have made them now potentially the 2nd to 5th fastest car depending on the circuit. But Alpine have not even been close to McLaren, and it looked like McLaren were going to lose out this season to Alpine, but they've completely dusted them now, and Alpine have no chance on catching up to McLaren and potentially Williams, as they have fully fallen behind Williams in pace. It's not just luck. Williams have now got potentially the 4th or 5th fastest car on the grid, pushing Alpine down another slot. As we've seen in Zandvoort, with Albon putting in some masterclasses, it didn't work out in the race for them, but qualifying was great. I'll put the result up here now. And again for the qualifying on the Monza Grand Prix, he got another top 5 qualifying position. And it only gets worse for Alpine from here on, as for the last few races, it's looked like AlphaTauri and Alfa Romeo potentially have more pace than Alpine, pushing the Alpine to potentially be the 9th slowest car on the grid. I think Haas are the only slower car than them at the minute, which is devastating. Yes, their points tally is high, but if Williams can carry on putting in these performances with the remaining races coming on, I truly believe Williams could catch up to Alpine and overtake them if they don't get their shit together. And so you've got to ask, why aren't Alpine's upgrades working? And it all comes down again to the leadership of the team in what direction they're developing the car. the personnel behind developing the car, and the facilities at the Alpine headquarters. And they are simply not good enough. We've now seen at Williams, even if you don't have the top-notch facilities, if you have the team leaders and personnel at your disposal, you can still make a good car and bring in upgrades like they have. But I just can't see Alpine bringing in any great upgrades from now on, because they'll most likely be looking ahead to 2024, and that means they potentially could be at the back of the grid for the rest of the 2023 season, which is terrible. I haven't seen Alpine ever perform this badly before. And not only this, because there aren't many changes to the car next season, it could be a massive wait till we see Alpine come back. Looking into the future, if they don't get their shit together, they could really fall back into the back marker position, which is very scary, and you don't want a team like Alpine to be doing that. And Alpine should not be doing this bad. But with no regulation changes soon, really could be a long time before we even see them anywhere near the top 5 on actual race pace. So, what do you guys think? Will they improve next year? Will they bring in upgrades for the rest of the season that will push them back up into at least the top of the midfield? Or will Williams jump Alpine in the constructors, and will Alpine continue to be one of the slowest cars for the rest of the season? And that is all I have to say. Bye bye.